Alright, so in this video I'll go ahead and go over the chapter quiz. So mainly with this chapter 4, we're trying to show that two triangles are congruent. I mean triangles congruent. They have to have all the same side lengths and all the same angle lengths, okay? The 5 ways that I can show that two triangles are going to be congruent. The first is called side. And basically what it means is the two triangles, all 3 pairs of sides are marked congruent. Okay. Another option is side angle side, and that's what we're going to be using here. And with that, so I got 2 S's. I'm on 2 pairs of marked congruent. And now you'll know that in and what's special about this angle, it is in between or it connects the 2 sides. So this is going to be one example right here. Another option is angle at angle. Now I've got 2 pairs of angles marked congruent. And what's special is the side in between the 2 angles. Then I've got angle side. Again, I've got 2 pairs of angles congruent to 2. But now, instead of having my in between the 2, my S is no longer in between. So you could have like this as a pair of sides. Or I could have had this other side between the 2, okay? So as long as I don't between this, I'm good with this one. The last one, and I don't think it was on this quiz, but it's called L. So H stands for hypotenuse, and the L stands for leg. So that's whenever I see that word hypotenuse, thinking about a right triangle. So it has a right angle. The hypotenuse is longest, the side opposite the 9 angle. And the legs are the teeth that kind of form an L in that angle. In this case, for L, or hypotenuse leg, not only the right angles, I gotta have the hypotenuse marked, and also pair of the legs. I had these 2 marked here. What usually throws some people off with this one is they see an angle and they think it's automatically gotta be hypotenuse. If instead you could look at this example, so 2 right angles, and I've got a pair of angles, I had this side in between those. This one would have been side. So just because you see a right angle doesn't mean it has hypotenuse. It could be one of these others above. Anything else does not work. A popular one, a lot of times they try to put out as side angle. That one does not show that 2 triangles are congruent. So when I look at this first one, we've already got a pair of angles. So I'm using side angle side, but the angles are already counted. So because I kind of have 2 triangles sharing that center side, so sharing, see, go ahead and mark that centerpiece congruence, okay? So this centerpiece AC is shared. So AC in the left angle is going to be the same thing as A right. So that's my other side. So since I've got side angle side, that means I'm looking another pair of sides. So right on that I'm looking for 2 pairs of sides. 1 pair of sides, excuse me. I got a pair of sides already. In order to have side angles, remember my angle had to be in between the 2 marked sides. So that means my angle has to be in the AC and the other marks. So the only way that is if I have A and also in the other triangle. So both of those force the angle to be in between marked side. Okay, so this angle is in between BA and side. So I've got the angle, and A in the right hand triangle is in sides AD and D. I could not put on BC and C. That would have led me to side, not in between, which we said doesn't. Okay. For this one, so I've got to use side again. Now I've already got the shared side, so I've got 1 pair of sides there. I've also got the other pair, BC and CD marked. That means I'm looking for an angle. Okay, so you're right track the angle. Now the problem is the angle has to be in between the two shared sides. So pull one triangle off to the side here. We've got A, C, and I've got two pairs ready. That means I need to know this angle at C. Alright, so when we go to look at that, since B, C are all in line, the two and C have to be the same. That means we've got a linear. So that means these two angles add a 90, or 180, excuse me. So that means the only case that happens where they're both equal and add up to be 180, 90. Since I have angles that are 90 degrees, that means that I've got angles, which means the lines are perpendicular, or the segments, excuse me, in this case. Okay. Hey.
I just opened mine.
Oh, no, you're... Alright. For the next one, sorry about that. So, it says, in the diagonal quadrilateral ABC, AB is parallel to CD, so I'm going to write my arrows in. Then it says ABC to CDA. So ABC, that's my A, to CDA, angle at D. Now, whenever I see lines, I think alternate interior angle. Was chapter 3. So AB and DC are parallel. I'm going to have a pair of interior angles. Okay, so like AC still there. So remember, when I've got parallel lines, alternate interior angles are going to be. So now this, I've got two pairs so far. I have the share between. So I've got two angles and the side. Now, when I'm looking at this, my two angles, my side is not in between. It's not marked. It's marked parallel, but it's not marked congruent. So that means my side is not in between. My side S is not in between the two A's. So that's why it's angle, angle, side, and not angle. Okay, so it's going to be angle, angle, side, not side, angle, side, because yes, this side is parallel, but I don't know its congruence. I'm looking for those pair sides. I'm looking for sides congruent, not just parallel. For this one, triangle AB, and basically another triangle where it says actually A prime, B prime, prime. That just means A is going to correspond with A, B prime, and C prime. You won't have notation on the test, though, or on SOL, excuse me. So I need to show that these two triangles are congruent. So that means I'm looking for side, side, side. So three pairs of side, side, angle, side, angle, 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 side, or the HL, hypotenuse leg. So if I look at this first one that you picked here, you said angle A congruent A prime. We've got AC with the AC. Then we've got BC. So I have two pairs of, but not going to be side, because for this to be side, angle, side, the angle would have to be touching both of these sides. So I would have had to have this angle at C, not the one at A. Okay. So we're going to look at answer choice B here. So for answer choice B, that one didn't work because it's single. For answer choice B, we have B, the AB. We've got angle A, and angle C, and angle. So I've got two angles. The side is not in between. If it was in between, they would have given C and AC. So I've got angle side, which was on my approved, so this one. This one's some proofs, and usually on the SOL they've got 2-3 proofs. If there's any more than that, it has to be one of those field questions set forward. So most have 3 proofs. And most of the time the proofs are a little bit easier than this. They're usually 4 or 5 steps. It's a drag and drop. from the release so far. That's what they're doing for the prior year. So I would assume it's going to stay about that. Probably have to drag or drop 2 or 3 parts in proof. Okay. So here, basically what I tell people is anything that's marked in your proof that they already gave you, make sure you mark it on the diagram, because once you get to the diagram, it's how you did these earlier ones. Because once I've got the diagram marked, okay, so yes, you always start with the given. That's always going to happen, starting with the given. And then based here, we're going to try to prove that we have 3 pairs of things congruent. So either like side, 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 angle, side, angle, side, angle, 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 side. Okay? And even HL has a third thing at the 90-degree hypotenuse in the leg. So looking for kind of 3 things that are marked congruent. So we are given that bisects angle so cut in half. So I've got angle O. It says in the next congruent to NMO. Then I've got MO is congruent to MO. That's the reflexive property. That's happening when you have a shared side between 2 triangles. This part was another. So O bisects angle P. So that means I've got 2 angles that are congruent. And when I look at this last choice here, I've got 2 pairs. Side is in between. So I've got angle, side, angle. Okay. So whenever you're bisecting congruent angles, if I were to be bisecting a segment, I would have 2 congruent segments. Okay. Another thing that's popular with these, go ahead and mention, if you ever get a triangle, make a bow tie, 9 times 10 you're going to have angles used as so that as well. That was the last example. So for question 4, it said A bisects this angle. That means I've got 2 congruent. So BAD here is being cut in half. It also tells that angle B is angle D. And since these 2 triangles are a side, I'm going to go ahead and mark that as. So now, I've got 2 pairs of angles, side not marked in between those. If I was side marked in between the 2 angles, I'd be looking at like CB and the side DA. So my S is not in 2 angles, that's why it's angle, angle, side. And the next one, so they have given us that angle is congruent to angle L. HJ is congruent to JL. So far I have an angle and a side. This is where those vertical angles play. So the ones at J, so now I've got 2 pairs of angles. The side HJ was connecting those 2 angles, so that means the side is in. So I only had 1 sides here, so I know it's side angle side. For the next one, so we've got angle A congruent to B, angle C, angle F, and it says which is not allowed to conclude these 2 triangles are congruent. Ready? So when I look at my options, I didn't think about angles, so I don't have to worry about that one. And that would not conclude. So if I were to have A, B, and D congruent, let's see. Well, I'll credit back on this one. Oh, never mind. I see what I did. Ignore my last comment. So A, B, and D congruent. That means I've got 2 pairs of angles, and the side is not in between. If they gave you AC and DF, then the side would be in between. Either way, though, both of those are on my approved list. But I was trying to find which does not. Okay? So instead, let's get B. B. That means I have 2 pairs of angles. That was not on my approved, so that is the one that worked. Okay. And the way that I kind of showed this was the case. All right, so next here, so it says, can you use side angle side, angle side, or both to prove the triangle is congruent? Okay, so in this one, I'm going to go ahead and mark any side or any vertical angles, or if I had a line, this is where I'd be marking alternatives, things like that. So the only thing that I can actually add here are the vertical angles. So now vertical angles, I've got two pairs of angles because I already had a right, and the side was connected to two angles. So that means I've got angle side. Okay, it's not be side angle side, but look at just that bottom. I only got one pair of sides marked. I do not have two pairs of sides. Okay, so be careful when you're looking for like side, angle side, all that. You're only looking at one at a time. Okay. For the next, so it says, can you prove two triangles are congruent? I don't have any vertical angles to add. Don't have any like alternate interior angle, thing like that, because I don't have any parallel sides. I do have a side. Okay, so AA angle was not on my list. My only things that were on that list were these. So side in between angle. You could also pick angle side if they had that option there as well. Only had one pair of sides, so I know I can't use side or side angle side or even HL because I don't have a right either. So I got to pick one of these two. The only one answer choice was that angle. All right, last one. We're trying to, these two triangles are congruent again, so I've got a side. Don't have any vertical angles or anything like that. So it should have only been one congruent. I don't have sides marked congruent. So one pair of sides and two pairs of angles. So again, two pairs of angles. My side is not or in between these two angles. Okay. So my side is not connecting these, side is not connecting the two A's. So it's going to be angle side. Only one pair of sides, not two. And that was the last one. All right. If you have other questions, just try to make another video here as well.